Hey everybody, welcome back to our fourth night of this virtual clinic. So for this first session, we have Coach Paul Standard. Coach Standard has been the head coach at St. Pius High School here in Atlanta for 20 years. So pretty impressive, stay at one place for 20 years. He won over 175 games while he was there, played in multiple state championship games. And has recently accepted a new position to be the head coach at Gilmer High School. So we're going to start cheering against you here soon, Coach. But until then, we're going to be cheering for you. So go ahead and take it away, Coach.
Okay. Michael, thank you. I want to thank Chris and Michael Parker and all those that are involved with putting on this great clinic. And I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. So we're going to talk about the combination of the triple option offense and the wing T offense. And tonight I'm going to narrow it down into attacking the 50 defense, the 3-4 defense, with three particular schemes, if you will. The outside veer, buck sweep, and then a play that we call veer solid, which is nothing more than midline, one hole wider, if you will, versus a zero nose or a 50 defense, 3-4 defense. So that's what I want to discuss tonight. Real quick, some of the things about the offense that we ran here at St. Pius. We call it the wing bone. Why do we do what we do? Well, it really fits our personnel. It gives us an identity. We can hang our hat on this particular system. You know, this is a system that we've taken from a lot of different places and combined it. It's not just a collection of plays. It combines what we feel like the three great offensive philosophies: triple option, wing T, and then the jet series. Why this type of attack? It's a ball control offense that shortens the game, which usually in most cases we are competing against teams that may have a little bit better athletes than we do overall, and allows us to control the game and shorten the game. We feel like it puts defenses in conflict. So I do want to preface this for all the wing T coaches that are out there. I am not in the cult. I wish I was, but they haven't given me my ring yet. So I don't want to discredit the wing T offense. I love this portion of what we do. And I know that's all predicated on putting defenses in conflict, in particular position players. Obviously the option offense makes the defense play assignment football, and it creates an opportunity for misdirection and power attack. It also gives us the ability to have a very strong play action passing attack. And we feel like it does, and we've seen over the years that it limits what teams historically have done defensively. We do believe that this can be successful year in and year out, given that you may have a good run of athletes and then maybe a couple of years where the athleticism is not as good. We feel like the base offense can be run at all levels, and we have done that at the middle school and the ninth grade. Of course, it's pared down from the varsity schemes, but we certainly can still run the same attack. Blocking schemes are simple and they're interrelated, and the opportunities to attack all areas of the field. The other part about this combination is that it allows us to get the balls into the hands of our halfbacks on both the wing T plays and the jet series. Whereas if it was just straight triple, sometimes the defense could particularly take away our halfbacks carrying the football. So as we get started in each spring and then the beginning of summer practice, we always start with our basic foundation of our offense, the inside and outside veer and midline, and our base wing T and jet series, which would be the buck and power sweep, trap, and then the jet sweep, and then the jet belly or the jet, the down play off the jet series. And again, that's our run play list. Not very intricate. And for a guy like me, I'm not very smart. That's a good thing. So that's our run offense right there. All right, in our offense, what we've done over the last 17 or 18 years is a lot like the RPO systems we have an alert system, and every play that is called in the huddle has 2 plays. And the quarterback has the choice of running one play that is called or the alerted play that was also called in the huddle. Okay. Please note that this is both of these plays are in our base offense. So we're not just grabbing at straws. Okay. What we feel like is it allows us to be in the best play possible based on the front that we're seeing. We're not just guessing. So attacking the 3-4 defense, the first play I want to discuss is our triple option to the tight end, also known as the outside veer. We like to obviously run this to an open C gap or a wide 9 technique. We certainly like this out of 2 tight ends where our alert could be alert opposite. But we also run it out of our base wing slot formation and in our unbalanced formation. So we do have inside veer, which I'm not going to talk about tonight, but that is obviously one of our alerts to the open end or nub side. And then we also, which is what I am going to talk about tonight, alerting to buck or power sweep to the same side based on how the perimeter of the defense and the edge players are aligned. Our thoughts on outside veer, I think is one of the greatest plays in football, but it slows down penetrating teams, forces the defense to play assignment football, and it is a great short yardage play. It reduces, we see a lot of teams that might be a high stunt or high blitz defense. When we play, they cut that down if they stunt at all. So, they do not want to stunt themselves out of a play. It puts the outside linebacker or the defensive end and the 3-4 scheme in real conflict. Our halfbacks, and you'll see on the film, are not very big, but they're able to block down on a 6 or a 9 technique outside linebacker because he's usually squeezing down to stop the fullback on outside veer. Obviously, if he's not, we're going to run outside veer, but on the buck sweep, when I get to it, you'll see that block is a lot easier. I could spend a lot of time. I'm just going to run through it very quickly on our quarterback's read and his progression. When in doubt, we're going to give the football. But as you'll see, we do pull it and pitch it, and we practice that every single day. But if the read key does squeeze, we're going to pull it. If the read key sits or crosses the line of scrimmage, we're going to hand it to the fullback. But if the quarterback's in doubt, and our quarterbacks, if they were sitting in here with me right now, if I asked them when in doubt, they all would reply in unison, give the ball. We can live with a no gain or a 1 yard gain. The quarterbacks, as you see we'll see on the film, that opens up flat at 3 or 9 o'clock, has a crossover step, and then rides at the point of attack. He needs to be in the line of scrimmage just like he does on inside veer. Our fullback or B-back, his first step is with his play side foot at a 45-degree angle, if you will, the inside hip of the play side tackle. He runs his numbers over the football and has a soft squeeze. I know you're probably thinking, what the heck is that? But we do emphasize the top hand at the top of the numbers and the bottom hand at the belt buckle, and comes over the football. The quarterback is taught if he's going to pull on any of our read plays, midline, inside, or outside veer, he's going to pull back, straight back with both hands. And there should be no doubt by the fullback that he is pulling the football. If the fullback does have the ball pulled or disconnects, his job is to gain 4 yards with or without the football, or in other words, eliminate the read key who's tackling him. Here are the rules again. If anybody wants this presentation, I don't know if that's legal, Michael. I guess you're recording this, or we are recording it, so you can take care of all the rules on each one of these plays. All right. The last thing I want to show you before we move on is our count system. Obviously, in the option game, you have got to be able to identify who is the read key, and who is the pitch key, and who is the run support defender that we've got to block. So as you notice here to the right of this formation, we're looking at outside veer. Number one to the tight end is always going to be the first defender in a 6 technique, head up to outside. That's going to be number one. Number two in the option count is the next defender stacked or outside of number one. And then number three is your run support defender, the next defender stacked or deep outside of number two. I do want to note, I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but over the last 3 or 4 years, we have also began to run outside veer to a 2-man surface. We have never done that until about 3 or 4 years ago. But with a heavy dose of this 3-4 defense and a 4-eye technique on the open end or split inside, we began running outside veer where we would normally double team here. And number one is still the first defender outside of the tackle. And then that would allow us to load block the inside backer and still pitch off of number two, the run support defender. All right, so there's our option count. The quarterback and the halfbacks and the receivers have to understand the option count. Out of 2 tight ends, again, with a hard defender, forced defender, outside of the number one, you'll see the numbering there, and our play side halfback will arc or speed arc to the to number 3. Okay, but the other play that we like to combine in unison with outside veer is buck sweep. We will call outside veer to the same side and alert buck sweep based on the alignment of the outside linebacker or the secondary. We just certainly believe that this play, again, puts the defense in conflict. Am I going to squeeze and take the fullback, or do we have to step out on the down block by the halfback? Guarantees us getting the ball to the halfback. We get a hat for a hat. And then our alerts are obviously inside veer to the open inside, outside veer to the same side. And when we're in 2 tight ends, buck sweep alert opposite. I'll do want to note that as I'll show you the diagram on outside, on buck sweep, that we do something a little different with our fullback, that our fullback, as you'll see on the notes here, he will fake the trap. And instead of blocking backside A gap, he is going to actually wrap. And you'll see this on film. And he becomes a third blocker in the buck sweep scheme. And we've been doing this now for about 4 or 5 years. And it has really been beneficial for us. So again, against a 3-4 or 50 defense, just your basic buck sweep for all of our wing T coaches out there. I know gap down backer, and we use the exact same rules. Our alignment of our halfback is inside foot on the outside foot of the last lineman, in this case, the tight end. So all of our down blocks, if you will, are really in vertical movement. We're working vertically. And the idea is that if this defender, who is number one in the outside veer count, he squeezes, that makes our down block much easier. Okay. Obviously, if he's not squeezing, we need to continue to run outside veer. On this buck sweep, play side guard is going to kick out the force. Backside guard is going to pull and wrap, or in some cases, he'll even kick. But here's our fullback who works play side A, but he's going to wrap. And he is going to pick up trash in that same area where our guards have worked through. Okay. And so you'll see that. And that's become a really good little tweak that we've made to our buck sweep. So we've discussed and talked about outside veer versus a 50 defense, and then combining that with buck sweep. Now, this is a team that was a 3-4 team. And if you'll notice, we probably called buck sweep probably a little early. If you'll look up top and notice that our play side halfback is struggling here, as you see on this note right here, excuse me, that he is having to struggle to block this stand up outside backer. Okay. And he does a great job of keeping great pad level, but you'll notice that end is not squeezing. So we should have still been running outside Veer. And it is a great job there by our halfback who just stays in there and roots him out of there. If you'll notice, this is a slanting 50 defense, and you'll see it from the end zone view. So our play side tackle did not do a very good job, as well as our tight end on the 4 technique. But our backside guard does a super job of kicking out, and then our fullback does wrap. Let me show you the end zone view. And what I've also drawn for you here is the last play I'm going to show you that we use to a tight end side versus a 50 defense, okay? And this play, which will be discussed and diagrammed at the very end of our talk. Again, you'll see great effort by our play side halfback. Our backside guard ends up having to block the 4 technique who slanted out. And our fullback wrapped up inside. This is the diagram of our Veer solid. We are not a big fan of running midline versus a 0 nose. Of course, you can't see the 0 nose right now, but we will run Veer solid, which is a triple option play, but it's either give or keep. It's just one hole wider from the midline. And we'll go over that in a few minutes. Just a nice cut there by our halfback, getting vertical. I know. My technical advisor here just told me to make sure I cut the audio off there. All right, we're now going to run outside Veer, same defense. Again, that outside backer stepping out, creating a crease there for our fullback to get through. Now, you'll notice that we did not block the backside backer. Sometimes it's good to be slow. I've sometimes described our offensive personnel that we have deceptive speed. We are slower than we look, and we're able to cut up underneath. One of the things we do teach our fullbacks on all of our inside and outside Veer plays is for the fullback, once he runs through the mesh, is he does not stay on. We used to a long time ago tell him to stay on track like a train. We do not do that anymore. And we teach the fullback to get vertical, square his shoulders to the line of scrimmage. Our offensive coordinator, who spent 4 years at the Citadel, brought that to us, and that's something we've been doing now for the past 4 years. So you'll see the fullback get himself vertical right there. Show it one more time. And he will get through the mesh. Nice read by the quarterback, because number 1 stepped out and up. Okay, now we have buck sweep again, all in the same drive. In fact, it's the very next play after that last outside veer. And I'll run it back again. You'll see that 9 technique squeezing. We're a little high, but he almost truly blocks himself. Let's look at the end zone view here. Got the end squeezing. The fullback, as you'll notice here, will wrap as he fakes trap. Again, our play side halfback gives great effort, a little high, but again, the end or outside backer was squeezing so much that it allowed him to almost block himself. Okay. All right. Now, this is in our playoff game, second round. We've got another stand-up outside linebacker. Okay. We have not gotten him to squeeze. This makes it a little bit more difficult block for our halfback. And in fact, he works all the way across his face, and our halfback does a great job of cutting up here. One more time. Again, you'll notice that, again, we probably should have ran outside Veer here. Great job by the center cutting off the shaded nose, and by our tight end. And you see our fullback get in and get a piece of that outside linebacker right there. All right, outside Veer. Here you can see that the end can't tell whether he needs to squeeze or to tackle the fullback. Therefore, he's not decisive. And again, our quarterback does a great job right here of reading this. When in doubt, give that football. And of course, in this offense now, fullback's got to be able to run through an arm tackle. And we always preach to our kids, if we can get 4 yards every snap, we're in great shape. Fullback does a good job of squaring up as well. Same game, outside Veer. Again, the end is in conflict right here. As we've run a fair amount of buck sweep. They were trying to teach their outside linebacker to take out our first guard on the buck. And this, opens it up for us to be able to run outside Veer with some success right here. Now, I don't know if I would encourage anyone to teach their quarterbacks to pitch like this, but sometimes in a big playoff game, you got to make a play. Our quarterback does a great job of disconnecting. He trips and then gets the ball pitched. Obviously, it turned out well. When he came to the sideline, he said, that didn't look good. I said, no, it did not look very good. Okay, now, later in the game, we've gotten a good squeeze now. And you can see that now we're playing a very, very good football team right here. But buck sweep is very effective here. We get that in squeezing hard. Now our play side halfback, as you'll notice, doesn't get a great fit, and he still gets up the field. Our fullback gets a piece of him, but we pick up 9 yards right here. We saw a lot of 50 defense this season, more so than we had in the last couple of years. But again, you can see the conflict that we're putting that end in. Again, now our play side halfback's got to do a much better job. All right, if you'll read this note that we have right here, and the outside backer is doing a great job of not getting pinned inside. And, that puts it on us as play callers to make sure that, we're making the right checks, the right calls. Again, if you'll notice, getting that fullback in the mix, I'll do it one more time, as that third blocker gives us the opportunity to pick up any trash. Now, our halfback right here does a great job. because we have probably put him in a bad place because this end is stepping out, and he does a great job of just staying on enough to get us through. And that halfback was about 165 pounds. Ends are still jumping, the outside back are still jumping out, so we're going to run outside veer. And the fullback gets vertical, gets his shoulder squared up right here. And this is, you know, the beauty of the offense is that you can stop, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times in a row for minimal gain. And then if you just stay with it, the patience. Fullback squaring up here. Okay. And right here is in conflict. Doesn't know if should he take on the down block or tackle the fullback. Again, we don't get the end crashing in hard. And this is should be an easy read for our quarterback. Here we have a misread by the quarterback. And here's one of the things that we teach the quarterback. If you misread, and it should have been a give, okay, you fall the fullback right in the hole. You fall him right in the hole. Halfback does a great job here on this load block on the inside linebacker. That's perfect. We have a misread and pick up 11 yards. That's pretty good. You'll notice that the quarterback is up in the line of scrimmage. He does everything correct. He just misreads it. But he reacted quick enough to get up in the line behind his fullback. And as our offensive coordinator, who has done these clips for me, he is reminding his halfbacks, this is why we are on the sled every week. Tuesday is usually, Monday is sled day. And the halfbacks know why we do that. All right, on our outside veer play to an overset, okay, you'll see that the halfback will load block. And if that linebacker is blocked, the inside backer, if he is blocked, then our halfback is taught to elevate to the next level, which he does right there. And that really becomes the touchdown block. Number 1 is the end. Number 2 is the play side safety. And our play side halfback does a great job and blocks the backside safety and allows us to spring the quarterback. So again, our blocks are in vertical movement. We're teaching our players to work vertically. And again, another example of outside veer. Now we have a squeezing outside backer. Want to talk real quick to the coaches out here who are option coaches or want to maybe put in the option game. We teach our quarterbacks to attack the inside shoulder of the pitch key of number 2. If he boxes you off by squaring his shoulders and our halfback is kind of cut off here, our job is to get vertical and get what you can get. Now, if I can get the ball pitched before he gets boxed off, that's fine. But if not, then you've got to get vertical. But a great job there by our play side halfback on the hip. And that great block by the play side halfback is what allows the quarterback to get up in there for that 9-yard gain. Our backside halfback does a great job here staying in pitch phase. Tight end does a great job of not allowing the backside backer. And our play side halfback just did a great job here. And for all the option coaches out there, I know this is beautiful, right? Pitching the ball down the field is something that we teach. Great job there by the fullback, who also gets in the action after having the ball pulled. Another great load block. Quarterback does a good job of getting vertical as well. This is the unblocked defender, the safety. Same game. Now we've got the outside backers to squeeze. Let me go back to our note right here. And it makes the down block that much easier. The block itself is not great, but the end is squeezing so far inside. And the fullback gets in there and gets a little bit of that defender that helps us spring the halfback. Again, obviously, I'm talking about just 2 plays here, buck and outside veer. We've also, part of those alerts would be triple option to the open inside. Again, we've got buck here. Good kick out by our guards. Again, good wrap. And again, the play is set up by the conflict. That outside backer is, from where he is at pre-snap, he is almost over where the tackle was lined up. That's how far down he squeezed, making the down block of the halfback so easy. Again, buck in the same opponent. And just a great job there by our guards. Okay, Veer solid. I want to go over this play. This is the play that we run in place of midline versus a 50 defense. Okay, again, these are our rules. Again, on the recorded version, you'll be able to slow it down and go through those. And I want to point out that this is nothing more than triple option to a tight end inside veer. You'll notice that our play side guard and center are going to double team the nose. We call that an ace block. Our play side tackle always blocks B gap. So if this defender was in a 4-eye, he would just pin him inside and it'd be an automatic pull by the quarterback. Since he's in a 4 technique or a 5 technique, if we have that, he is going to read this. So it's either going to be give or keep. Play side tight end turns out the outside linebacker, and our play side halfback inserts just like he does on midline. Now, what I do have drawn here is our backside halfback running pitch motion. But one of the things that we've done over the last 2 years is we've actually used this back as a second insert back, because quite frankly, what we have here in a lot of our cases that we see is the safety folding back in. So he is to block the fold player, but we see a lot of that from defenses now. And we call this play veer solid. This is the first or second play in our second round playoff game. So you'll notice that second, our pitch back, who is going to insert as well, gets just a piece. Good job by our receiver. Unfortunately, we got called on the backside for a chop block, the infamous chop block that us option teams have to deal with. Okay, this is 2 plays later, same game. You know, outside veer, buck sweep, and now veer solid. Let's look at this from the end zone view. Well, I guess our end zone camera was not, we didn't get that clip. Let's watch it from the tight view then. So again, all we're going to do is, this is number 1 in the count because it's inside veer, and we're blocking number 2 with our tight end turning out. We're going to insert, and we're going to bring our backside halfback in. So we're going to double insert on this play. Some of you may be looking and saying that play could have been a give, and it could have been. All right, so this is 4th and 1. I told you that outside veer is a great short yardage play, and it is. This is also a great short yardage play if you got a quarterback who's not afraid to stick it up in there. And we were very fortunate. We had a great kid at quarterback, great leader. Our fullback does a great job of not allowing him to get the pinching tackle. We don't do a great job at the play side tackle position. Our fullback does a good job of not allowing him to cross his face. And you see it open up right there. Now, our backside halfback picked out a defender. You know, they had 2 more in there than we could block, but we got the first down. That was in short yardage. All right, so let's go back. We're about an eyelash away from breaking a big one right here, but great job by our halfbacks inserting. Great job by our play side tight end, turning out on the outside backer. Great read by the quarterback. Now you've got the 4 technique stepping up the field. And a great read there. Get 7 yards. Let's look at that from the end zone. This 4 technique, who has been squeezing, blowing up the mesh. Steps out for us right here. Okay, running veer solid to the left in an overset. So again, in this formation, we obviously run outside veer, we run buck sweep, we run veer solid, and then a lot of times our alert back to the nub side is triple back to a nub. They're in their 3-4 or 50 defense with the inside backer stacked. We have seen a lot of this over the last 3 years. The college option teams have for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years been seeing a lot of stack, and that's trickled down to our level. And we've seen over the last 3 years, we've seen a lot of 3-4 stack or 50 stack defense. Another great read there by the quarterback as the tackle stepped out. and from the end zone view right here. One other thing I do want to, I'm going to run this back. Probably not a good formation to show this out of, and I don't have play action on this, but in this same game, we have a play action pass where the back play side halfback goes to insert and just stays vertical, and we hit him for about a 35-yard pass play down to about the 10 in this game because their safeties kept creeping up.
Hey, Coach, we got a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
It says, we are a too tight team. We get lots of 6-3 defenses. What option would you run to that?
Versus a 6-3, our very first choice would be outside Veer, where we would, in that 3 linebacker set, if we could load block that defender, that would be our preference. Now, if that 3 linebacker alignment is a little too wide for us to load block, then we would arc the play side halfback and then pitch off that backer. But our initial would be to read that outside backer on the line of scrimmage and then try to pin or load that outside backer who's probably going to be inside of our halfback. That would be the number one play that we would want to go to. And then we would probably want to run possibly buck. If they were running the backers through, we would run power sweep as well. Any other questions?
Guys, you can either say, if you got a question, feel free to either type it in the chat or you can just unmute and ask Coach yourself.
Anybody else? Can I see the chats if there are there any other questions?
No, if you can't see it while you're sharing your screen, so you'd have to unshare, but yeah, that was the only one we got so far.
Okay. What I would like to do, since we got a little bit of extra time, I'd like to pull up the play action, if possible here. Coach, you want to help me right here? Coach Sanders. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to get my my huddle. We can show some of those play action passes off the outside veer. We all know waggle. Okay. Thank you, Coach Standard. Here we go. It's good to have young coaches on your staff. Okay. All right. So now this is not necessarily against a 3-4 defense, but in that same alignment that we're running buck sweep and outside veer, we are running play action pass off of the outside veer look. Run that again. So again, our fullback's responsible for the end man on the line of scrimmage because he's running his outside veer track. Our tight end is running the corner route, and the play side halfback is running the angle route. We call this just simply veer pass angle. Our backside halfback's rule is to, instead of insert, he is going to block off the edge. He should be working a little bit more forward or to the line of scrimmage. But we're running this because you're getting a forced defender who is now in conflict. Am I going to take the pitch? Am I going to take on the guard on buck sweep? And obviously we got 2-on-1 on the safety right here. quarterback had to throw off his back foot. We had a little pressure there. Let's look at the protection. But this is one of our top play action pass plays off of outside Veer. Again, outside Veer, pass angle out of 2 tight ends. And again, it puts that forced defender in conflict right here. This is the play off of the Veer solid look, where I told you we were going to we insert our halfback to block, as you saw several times in a row, and then he's just going to continue on down the field. It becomes nothing more than a 4 vertical route, because you see our halfback in twirl motion. He's going to run the wheel. Any questions there? Okay. Coach Parker, I am done with my presentation. If there's any other questions or comments or anything else they would like for me to show, I'll be glad to share it with our audience.
We'll give them a minute and see if anybody's got questions. You definitely done one thing, Coach. You reminded me why I don't like coaching defense against this. So I'm not gonna miss that. That's for sure. Be somebody else's problem now.
Well, I really appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to share with all the coaches out there, and I wish everyone have a great off season. Hopefully one day we can get back to doing clinics live and in person. If anybody has any questions at all, I'm going to still be here at St. Pius till the end of the school year, traveling back and forth to Gilmer, and I'll be glad to share anything that we have. It's nothing that I've created. We've stolen from someone else and maybe have tweaked it a little bit, but we certainly fortunate with the kids we had here, and look forward to our new adventure up in Gilmer County. So coaches, thank y'all so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I say we're gonna wish you luck most of the times, except when you play Pickens.
All but one game, right?
All but one game. We're gonna cheer against you for that one, but all the rest of them we'll cheer for you. So we appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, we're gonna wait till about 9 to get started with the next session. So we got about 10 minutes. Feel free to take your bathroom breaks or whatever you got to do till then. I think I saw Coach Jones. Are you on here? Yeah, there you are. I see you.